The advice and opinions expressed by the host of Autism Live and her guests are meant solely as suggestion and should not be in any way construed as child-specific advice. The Center for Autism and Related Disorders advises working with a board-certified behavior analyst who has experience with autism before starting any intensive behavioral intervention. Any choices you make in determining your child's treatment are completely at your own discretion.
Good morning and welcome to Autism Live. It's a good day to be here, and we are coming to you live from many places from around Southern California today. So excited. It's Thursday, and we have one of my favorite people as a guest. Dina Kimmel is going to be joining us in just a few minutes from We Rock the Spectrum. She's going to rock our world she's so smart. Can I just say, I always tell her I want to grow up and be just like her, even though she's younger than me. You know what I mean? She's just so smart and just an amazing businesswoman, amazing mom, an amazing friend. And I'm sure her husband would say she's an amazing wife. So she's going to join us in a little while and tell us what We Rock the Spectrum has been doing, because we talked to her a few months ago at the beginning of the pandemic, and she had shifted what her gyms were doing, and they were giving childcare to first responders. And so we're going to check in with her about what she's doing now, because I think you guys are going to be really excited. It's a lot of what you guys have been asking for. So there you go. I get so excited about it, but we got a few bits of business to take care of before that. Want to welcome all of you and let you know that the show for the next hour live is meant to be interactive. We want to hear from you. We want to know your thoughts, your feelings, your questions, your concerns. So if you're watching us live right now, and today is Thursday, it is August 20th, 2020. If you are watching us live right now, you're probably watching us either on our homepage, which is autism-live.com, or you might be watching us on Facebook or YouTube. If you're watching in any one of those three places, you can be interacting with us very easily right now. There's a chat on the homepage, or you can just write in your questions on Facebook and YouTube, and we will try to get to as many of those as we can. We just aren't capable of getting to all of them, and for that, I apologize, but we'll get to as many as we can. Be persistent, right? As in all things, right? You might also be watching us live on Twitter or Periscope. We love having you watch us there. You can also watch us podcast later on today on any of those locations, but then you can also you can download the free podcast on iTunes. You can have it with video and sound, or just sound if you want to take us in the car, which I hear more and more of you are doing, and I love that. Be careful while you're driving. Or take us on a walk. Oh, that's a good thing to do. Or on the treadmill. I'm on the treadmill every day, and I get bored. I don't know about you guys. So take something to listen, us or somebody else, right? But you can also get our podcast for free on Spotify, on Deezer, on iHeartRadio, and I feel like I'm always missing one. But we have a couple more that are coming up here at the end of August, beginning of September. We're going to give you more information about that. If there is a place that you get your podcast that we are not, will you please do me a favor and let us know? The only reason why we're not there is either they charge their viewers, which we don't do that, or it's that we just don't know. And I fully admit that we do not know a whole lot of things. So we count on you guys to educate us. Isn't that wonderful? Take an opportunity to let us know where you want us to be. Okay, so having said that, I do like you to know that we have lots of experts that are on the show. We've got an amazing expert here today, Dina Kimmel. And but I do like to give you guys the disclaimer that while we have many experts here, no one can give your child individual specific advice. And please know that I am not one of the experts. My credentials, which I'm loving more and more, can I just say, I'm a former teacher, a former classroom teacher. I taught college and I taught junior high and high school, and I was substitute teacher for all grades. So I've taught every grade that there is. I've been in special needs classrooms. I've been in AP classrooms as a teacher. I taught college. I taught college theater and I taught college communications. So I've taught a wide variety of people, and it's why I'm so adamant about some of the things going on right now with distance learning. I know for a fact that it can be done with a wide range of people, but not everybody. So we want to try to get as many of our kiddos happy and on distance learning as we can, and problem solve until we can get them what they need, because education is fundamental, as they like to say. Uh, so that's part of my credential to be here. But the other part of my credential, which I think is more important in this venue, is that I'm the mom of an amazing young man who was diagnosed with autism at the age of 2.5. And we got so lucky. We got access to what he needed fairly quickly, within a year, although it took me a while to go and get the diagnosis as well, right? So he was able to start early intervention, and we were able to fight for the privilege to get the full funding for what he needed. We had to fight, but we were successful, and he got a full early intensive ABA program with the Center for Autism and Related Disorders. And our lives were changed by that forever. His life was changed by that. My life was changed by that. Our family life was changed by that. I have every day the gratitude of knowing that my son can do whatever he wants, that he can go wherever he wants. He has the skills to do whatever he wants, and that he's a happy soul on this planet. And that's all I want for all of you. Whether, and this audience, we always talk about the larger autism community. It starts with the individuals who are on the autism spectrum. What I wanted for my son is what I want for you. The ability to do what you want to do, to be able to go where you want to go, apply for a job, get that job, have the relationship of your dreams, if that's what you want. If you want a family, if that's what you want. But I think I know you deserve the right to be able to do that. So first of all, we welcome those individuals on the autism spectrum, the beating core of that community, but we also welcome everyone who loves them. And that's an even bigger community. And if we all align ourselves together for the things that we agree on, which is this is not a one size fits all thing, right? If we can agree on that, but agree that everybody deserves dignity, a job, and the ability to pursue their dreams, boy, we are a powerful group of people. So I'm here to support that whole community in whatever way I can. I owe that to all of you. That's the karmic debt that I have. That's the deal I made on to my higher power on the floor of my bedroom, saying, please help me to help my child. And I promise if you do, I'll turn around and help whoever I can. That's where I'm coming from. I'm not omniscient, omnipotent, and I'm not ridiculously, I'm not even slightly wealthy. So I have limits, but within those limits, I'm here for you. Please write into us. Don't make me be a mind reader, because I'm not. And you know what I always say? We hold hands. Si se puede. We can do this, right? Together. Okay, so that's what the Dealy Wheel is. We like to start Thursdays with something we fondly refer to as the jargon of the day. This is when we take on one word, one phrase, one acronym. We try to figure out what in the hey nani are those experts talking about? What does this have to do with us? Is this really something I need to learn? Really? And I only put terms in here if I think that they can save you 5 minutes and $5. Okay. Now, over this week and the next 2 weeks, we're going to be covering types of reinforcement. Because a lot of times you guys will write into me and we'll talk about making something reinforcing for our kiddos, teens, and adults. And you guys, sometimes people will push back, and sometimes it's not you. Sometimes it's your significant others or your parents, your grandparents that are in the house. That people have this old school mentality of, well, you should just do it because it's the right thing to do. Okay, but that just doesn't happen overnight. People only do the right thing if it's meaningful to them, and we have to make it meaningful first, right? And a lot of you will say, well, we're just rewarding him or her for everything. Is this what it's going to be like the rest of our lives? And I want you to see how this works. So on Tuesday, we talked about a schedule of reinforcement, that we're going to be mindful about how we reinforce. Well, today we're going to talk about all of your worst nightmare that you think that this particular thing is going to happen up through college for your children. It's continuous reinforcement. And this is how you guys think of reinforcement. And you might notice if you're looking at a behavior intervention plan that this would be abbreviated to CRF, continuous reinforcement. Okay, so let's take a look at what this is, when we use it, and how we use it. Our actual definition, which we'll try to make fun of if at all possible. I think these aren't that bad because I deliberately picked ones that weren't horrible. A schedule in which every instance of behavior produces reinforcement. Well, that kind of makes sense, right? Continuous reinforcement, and it's a schedule. Every instance of a behavior produces reinforcement. Okay, but let's move on to our working definition and see if it's a little bit more useful to us. Constant and consistent rewards for targeted behaviors. It's effective when beginning to teach something new or difficult. Okay, so we don't use continuous reinforcement very much. We really don't. It's really just like a step that we would use in the beginning of teaching something, or if we're teaching something that's really hard and very aversive for somebody. So, I'm thinking of, there was a play structure at a playground that my son, for whatever reason, he became afraid of heights. And he had a really hard time walking on tile floors because he felt like he was going to fall between them. And on this bridge that was in the play structure, there was, it had little perforations in it. And they were pretty little, I mean, just a little bit of sand could go through. But for whatever reason, his object permanence and himself, he thought that he could fall through the holes of that. So it was very, very aversive to him. And we found out later that had a little bit to do with a visual thing that he had going on, for those of you who keep track of that. But we needed to work on that with him, and he wasn't going to do it unless it was worthwhile. So we worked on having him go up the different steps, not even get on the bridge. And for every step he went up, he got a reinforcer, something that was meaningful to him. Really, really. Now, for a lot of kids, that, a primary reinforcer is food. I'm not a big fan of that. But for some of our kids, that's what we need to do for a short period of time to get them to do something so that they can see that there's nothing harmful in it. What we needed my son to see was that he could trust us, that we weren't going to cause him to fall between the cracks, that we weren't going to force him to do something, that we were going to give him time to be comfortable, and that he was going to get a reward for it. So every single step that he went, he got a reinforcer. Now that's not sustainable long-term, right? But we're constantly wanting to get to a reinforcer. And then once we get the reinforcer and they see that, oh, this actually isn't that bad, nothing bad is happening to me when I'm standing on the bridge, then we can start to do different kinds of reinforcement where we don't reinforce every single time. But you will see, if your child is just starting out on an ABA program, that you're going to hear, they're going to ask your child to do something, and, they might be, I've got the puppet here because we were talking to a kiddo yesterday. They might be like, touch the puppet. And I know we all go, touch the puppet. I want my child to speak. I want my child to go to college. How are we going to, but it's a progression, right? So that they might go, touch the puppet. And your child touches the puppet, they yay, tickles, wonderful, because we're teaching him, oh, when I ask you to do something, it's not horrible, it's not bad, right? And you get a reinforcer. We're not going to do that forever. And in fact, you'll see later on, we'll very quickly work up to the point where they'll have to do 10 things before they get a reinforcer, right? So, but just, this is the thing that you guys are all afraid of. Continuous reinforcement for the rest of my life. I'm going to have to reinforce this. No, this is just a very beginning thing that we do so that we get over that hump and get them willing to learn and have the trust, and they feel safe. And they're like, oh, okay, we're not doing anything really, really crazy here. You're just asking me to touch a puppet. Okay. All right. I can do that. That's fine. And that will lead us to be able to do even harder things, like say puppet and say, I want the puppet, please. And you know what I like about puppets, right? But to have that conversation, or to be able to say to you, I don't like puppets. Puppets creep me out, right? We want them all to get to the ability where they can communicate their needs, their desires, their wants, right? Continuous reinforcement, really just something we do very briefly to help get on that path, okay? It's a really good thing. And we'll continue next week with talking about some of the different other types of reinforcement and how we break it up into when we give it and how we give it, okay? So moving on, we always have a question of the day for you. Our question today, I have no idea what it is because I don't remember. What skills are you currently struggling with? What are you struggling with? Whether you are the individual who is on the autism spectrum, or you're the parent, or you're the teacher, or the boyfriend or the girlfriend, the husband, the wife, what are you currently struggling with? I really think, what our community, our larger community, needs more of is perspective taking. We talk all the time about how individuals on the spectrum need to learn to take our perspective, but are we taking theirs? And one of the ways we start to do perspective taking is by checking in with ourselves. What am I struggling with? What's really, really hard for me? And I can think of at least 3 things that are really, really hard for me. And how do I want to be treated when I work on those things? What helps me to get through it? I got to be in the right state of mind to get through it. I have to be rested. I have to feel well to get through it. I like when someone is being patient. I like when somebody teaches me the necessary things that I need to be able to do to get through it. I hate it when somebody gives me a task and doesn't tell me everything I need to know. Like, here's the thing we want you to do, but nobody gives me the password to get into the account. Well, that, come on, right? So are we doing that for our individual that we care about on the spectrum? How are we giving them what they need to get through what they struggle through? Now, I do think it's worthwhile to check in with ourselves and go, what am I struggling with and what do I want? And then move the conversation to what are they struggling with? Don't forget the part of the equation with what will help them. What helps me doesn't necessarily help you and doesn't necessarily help my child on the spectrum. And there are ways that we can do preference assessments with them to think about, what has helped them in the past. We can, there are ways that we can ask verbally and non-verbally, how can I help you to do this, and get them to request, can I get help with this part of it, right? That's something we can work on with very young kids, even when they don't have a whole skill repertoire, right? Okay, so, and our topic this week that we're finishing out today's our last live show of the week. We're doing a pre-recorded show tomorrow. But so our topic this week has been, if it's not fun, what's the point? I know that this is really hard and we're all taking everything so seriously right now, and heaven knows that there's enough in the world to take seriously. And I'm not saying don't take anything seriously, but wherever you can, I want you to think about the fact that whatever you've got to do today, make it fun, or at least make some significant portion of the day fun. Because otherwise we can't sustain. And there are so many things going on right now. If you cut the fun completely out, whoo! And for those of you who are families who are doing, especially the intensive interventions, it's so easy. I know, because my son did 5 years of intensive. You get caught up in that. Don't forget to schedule in the fun for your child and for your family and for you. You won't be able to sustain it unless you build in fun. So I've said this on Monday or Tuesday, whichever day. Our brains are these positive assumptive machines. They're computers. And ask yourself today, okay, what do I need to do today? How can I make it fun? It might be that, you got to do a bunch of dishes. How could I make it fun? Well, I could put on the music that really, makes it fun and dance while I'm doing that. I've got to work out today. Well, what kind of, can it be dancing? I mean, like and that's, maybe that's not fun for you. What, would swimming be what's fun for you? Ask yourself the questions and listen to the answers, but make sure it's a positive assumptive question. Because if you say, what do I need to do today? I got to work out. How can I make it fun? That positively assumes that you can make it fun, because I think you can. Even if it's that you've got a horrible business meeting to go to, and what you're going to think of in the back of your head is, while you're sitting there, you can be humming a song in the back of your head, or, you know what I'm saying? There's a way that you could make it fun. I can remember a meeting that we had to go to that I so very badly did not want to go to. I won't say what type of meeting it was, but there was a particular individual who would have the same phrase that they would say over and over again. And so my husband and I, it was just like, we're dreading this so badly. And we had an agreement that we were going to count how many times the person said this phrase. And we had a bet that I said that this person was going to say it over 300 times within an hour and a half meeting. And he said, no, there's no way that I'm going to say 100. I was closer. And we enjoyed the meeting because every time they said it, instead of a nail in our heads, we were like, one. You know what I mean? And we were still present at the meeting. There is a way to make it fun. That's all I'm going to say. Find the way to make it fun. Okay. So I really don't want to wait much longer because I know we've had her waiting in the wings, but we've got this big show for you today. Our very special guest this morning is one of my favorite people, Dina Kimmel. She is the founder of We Rock the Spectrum, and she's also the founder of a wonderful charity, My Brother Rocks the Spectrum. We don't get enough time ever to talk about that. So if you don't know about these gyms, you got to find the one that's closest to you. Yeah. So let's let Dina in so that she can talk and that we can talk with her, because she's really fabulous. She's an amazing mom. I was saying this before, an amazing friend. She's just one of those powerful people that is fun and hilarious and you always want to be around. There she is. And she looks beautiful. How are you doing? How are you working that? So thrilled to have you with us this morning, Dina.
Thank you so much for having me. As always, you always look beautiful. I don't know.
You've got I look like a drowned rat today, but I do. This hair, I don't know what I'm doing with it, but whatever.
Quarantine do, I love it.
I'm sorry?
It's a quarantine do. I love it. I love it.
Yes, there's that. So yeah, that's exactly. I keep cutting it off. Okay, so
I cut all the hair off. The quarantine do.
But you have somebody professional come to your house. Is that correct?
Let me tell you something. During, like I said, when quarantine, I just was like we all are. Listen, I'm a businesswoman. I'm also a mom, and I needed something, to pick me up. And I found out that my hairdresser was only doing a select 5 people. And she said, I promised you. And she comes mass and everything. So I said, yep. Okay, come over and chop my hair off because I need to pick me up.
And I just go with a razor. And so I'm a crazy person. And my rationale was, well, nobody's going to see me anyway. And then my husband pointed out that we're doing 10 shows a week. Okay. I was like, oh, there's that. After I'd already shaved it, I was like, yeah, oh, that's right. Okay. But I really want to talk with you today because I say nice things about you behind your back. I think you're one of the smartest people I know, Dina.
Thank you.
And I think you're one of the smartest moms I know. And I think you're definitely one of the smartest business people I know. And you were in a business that was doing great service to the autism community, your kids' gyms. For people who've never heard of your kids' gym before, tell them a little bit about what the kids' gyms are.
Well, I feel now more proud than ever, I will tell you, to let the world know what We Rock the Spectrum is about. This pandemic has done so much, so much to the world in hardship with so many lives, lost. Really, but we as a brand, I feel like we truly can say we've done our part now. And We Rock the Spectrum Kids Gym, similar to, I was just listening to your story. Gabriel was diagnosed when he was 2 with autism spectrum disorder. He was diagnosed moderate to severe with sensory processing disorder. He just would run around the house, headbutting into everything. And, you remember those days, right? Yep. And I used to get so frustrated because I stayed home, for that year as a mom. And, I would be with him all day. All he did was cry. And all of a sudden Tim would come home and start roughhousing with him. And he was laughing. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Yeah. Okay. No mama, no dada. Dada comes home. He's happy. What am I doing? Okay. Let's do a switch. You stay home. And then, I didn't listen to my doctor. Okay. I had one of those doctors, as many of us parents do with kids with special abilities, who said, he's fine. There's nothing wrong with him. He's not screaming. He's not hitting his head on the wall. He's just a normal boy. Well, I had a girl first, so it was much different for me. Sophia was talking at 1, and I'd always heard boys develop slower. So, okay, I was patient. And then all of a sudden he started putting his hands over his ears, at 12 months, 18 months. I didn't know anything about autism. I'll be the first to tell you, I watched Rain Man. I think that was just a dynamite movie, but that's all I knew. I mean, I really knew nothing else. I'd heard of Autism Speaks and thought it was a great organization. But then my life changed forever in 2009. And I thank God every day for it. But like you, I was in the trenches and didn't know what to do. Gabriel did not sleep, for almost 4 years. It was, I get what they do, in the war, and they sleep deprive, these incredible, soldiers and men, because that was us, and we were a mess. And one day, I just said, that's it. And I contacted the regional center, even though my doctor told me not to. And hence now here we are today. He was diagnosed right away. I mean, I had the best, I don't know if you've heard of her, Trudy Maxwell. She was been around for a long time. And she came over, and it was interesting. She said, okay, so I see what's going on with your son. I know what he's got. This is what he's got. What's going on with your daughter over here? I'll never forget her saying that. And, I know that, your son is, an only child, but when you have siblings, we didn't realize in this diagnosis, and a big part of why We Rock the Spectrum was founded was also for my daughter. And I looked at her, I said, what do you mean? Well, is this a democracy in your house? Because she's ruling it. I said, oh my goodness. And I knew things were going on with Gabriel. I had started speech already before he was diagnosed. I started OT just again from my own intuition and doing my own research. And I'll never forget the first speech therapist that I went and saw with Gabriel. And she started working with him. And I said, I've been doing some research on autism. Do you think he has autism? And she said, I don't know. Do you think he has autism? And I said, bye. Okay, next. Okay, where's my next speech therapist? And I've had the same one for 10 years now, which her name is Laura Talkner. She's phenomenal. But I had the problem. I couldn't give my daughter what she needed. Not only were we not able to provide our son, what he needed for all the input. And OT is how much an hour?
Oh, yeah. Crazy expensive.
Anywhere from $135 to $150 an hour. So per her suggestion, she said, put some swings in your house. We did. Long story short, very quickly, my son and my daughter were beginning to play together, for the very first time. I would say 6 months after we had the equipment in our home, he hands me a bag of cookies, which a neurotypical mom is going to be like, so my daughter did that or my son did that at 1. Well, not our son. He couldn't make the connection. Let me go in the kitchen at 2.5 years old, grab the bag of cookies and hand it to mommy. That was huge. I mean, Tim and I, the tears, right? So once I saw this huge, huge changes, and the big moment was he was 3.5. Okay. And Gabriel, he's a big boy now at 13. But I couldn't get him out of his crib. He wouldn't get out of his crib. So at 3.5, he's still in his crib, and he was barely making approximations, and I knew he understood more, but he still was having a very difficult time, staying focused. And all of a sudden it was in the middle of the night, and I look at Tim, I'm like, oh my God, someone's in Gabriel's room. Someone's in Gabriel's room. And I said, oh my God, get up. I'm scared. I don't want to go in there. So his room was connected to ours, and it was great because the owners before our home was, I guess, a paranoid family, and they had a door to go into, their child's room. So we went in there, we looked, okay, there's our son, Shannon, running. I don't know if I ever even told you this, running back and forth in his crib going A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. I mean, just belting out language. And I thought, oh my God, what the heck? And I called his OT therapist at 5 o'clock in the morning. She goes, I told you that it was going to get worse before it got better. Worse in the sense he's not going to sleep right away, because with all of this OT, his brain's it's like firecrackers, going off. It's coming alive. It's like that movie, The Awakenings, with Robin Williams, right? One of my favorite. And so we suffered for another 6 months. And then all of a sudden I put the equipment up, and, I started working on the bolster swing with him, and boom, our lives, like I said, were changed. All of a sudden, our home became the place to go. It was like, forget going to indoor playground areas, because we were kicked out of at least 5 of them. And my poor daughter, she was the one who really suffered. So I said, you know what, I can't do this. Gabriel didn't know any better. For him, that's the beauty of autism at the young age. They forget, right? They forget. Now, that's a different story. He'll remember something back when he was in first grade, right? But I opened up the first We Rock the Spectrum really just as equally for both of them. One, to have a place that Gabriel could go and get the OT that he needed, because we couldn't afford $150 an hour, 5 hours a day, because that's really what he needed. And so Sophia can feel included, come on, our gyms. So, that so the world knows, I'm sure if you haven't heard of We Rock the Spectrum, it's all specialized occupational therapy equipment. Carefully, picked out for all kids, okay, not just for kids with sensory processing disorder, autism, ADHD, ADD, Down syndrome, MS. It's all kids of all abilities come in. Oops, excuse me 1 second there. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It happens.
That's the world. Excuse me 1 second, girls, if you can call my daughter. So that's the quarantine, right? The quarantine is she FaceTimes me 24/7.
There we go.
So we opened up We Rock, and I'll tell you, it did so much for my family. And I never had any intentions of sitting here today. When I first found out Gabriel had autism, you were and are still my idol. I said, oh my God, if I can get on that show, and I had my one location then, if I can get on my show and tell people about this. But, truthfully, 3 weeks after we opened, our gym was packed with people. I didn't realize that there was no indoor playground area, not for all kids. So, the long story short, here we are. I'm very excited to tell you, I think you know this already, we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary, September 1st. Can you believe it? We had this whole big party, planned, and, that's been ixnayed, but, it's been great. We've been kind of just doing a flashback of the last 10 years on social media and with my marketing team. It's been beautiful just to relive these memories. I mean, truly, we are a kids gym for all kids. At least 30% of the kids that come into a We Rock the Spectrum, now we have 85 and counting locations. They have some form of, need for sensory, and the rest are just neurotypical kids. Some people who, I'll never forget my attorney. My attorney said to me, "Are you sure you want to call it We Rock the Spectrum?" So I said, why would I not want to call it We Rock the Spectrum Kids Gym? Well, you might be, deterring the typical crowd. And it was the best decision I ever made, obviously, because I was thinking about, Gabriel and Sophia's angels or my two angels. And I said, no, I want the world to know, my husband is a musician. That's his, his heart, in his heart. He does sound for TV and film. But he said, listen, if we're going to have a kid on the spectrum, we're going to rock it. We are going to rock it. Hence, We Rock the Spectrum Kids Gym, and how we got the name. But I look back now and I'm just, I have a different feeling about this mission now. I loved it, and I've had such passion all the way through. My franchise developers, they're like, God, Dina, I love having you on, these Zoom calls to meet candidates, but you don't shut up. And then you want to help their family, and you go on and talk about speech and this and that. But that's really what we do. And that's what all of my owners do. Okay. We support the community. We support the families with special abilities. We support the neurotypical families. And guess what? During these times, all of us need help. All of us need help, right? And that's what we've really seen. That's really what we've seen. It's been truly amazing. Listen, I could talk all day on your show about We Rock the Spectrum, but there isn't anything like us. There's other sensory gyms, and I'm proud of them. I'm proud that some, other people are trying to come on board, especially the My Gyms. Now they have classes with kiddos on the spectrum. They kicked me out, okay? And I'll never forget when I became a franchise, okay? The CEO reached out to me. So I heard about your story, because I'm not shy. I'll say exactly, what organization, kicked me out or was not, was unkind. But I also have now continued to give them kudos, because they have stepped on board truly. And they refer us people to the gyms all the time. They've got their special needs classes. And I'm proud. I'm proud to be a part of that movement, because truly what you do and what we do together, this is a movement. This is a worldwide movement, what we're doing, right? Trying to cause, to have that effect of autism awareness, of the awareness for our special needs kids. There's no difference. When you come into a We Rock the Spectrum, you don't know who has a special ability and who doesn't. They're all playing together, right?
Yeah. I now everybody knows why I love her so much. She's a ball of fire. And, she's not just talk. I remember when I first met you and you just had the one gym, and it was just down the street. It was like a block away from our studio. And you came on and you were just thinking about going to 5 gyms. For me to hear that you're in the 80s now is crazy insane. What you have accomplished in a decade, Dina Kimmel, is a miracle. and it's a miracle for our community, and it goes way beyond your gyms. The events that I have been to, when you guys do your walk, and the different things that you guys do. You partnered with us to do the sensitive Santas for the last, I don't know, 5-6 years, whatever it is. I'm just telling you guys, she's the real deal. So I adore you. They're saying, good for you, Dina, getting what you need to keep moving. And that is exactly what you do, is you keep moving. When COVID hit and you were told that you weren't an essential business and you had to shut everything down, you became essential. And now in our hour of most need, you have something new that I think is going to blow everybody's minds. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you're doing at your gyms and what the opportunity is?
I'd absolutely love to. I always get chills when you talk, just, you know, the hair on my arm stand up.
I get chills when you talk.
Talk about the real deal. I'll tell you, the world is just so much of a better place because of you. So I need to tell you that. I mean, really, thank you.
That's really sweet. I sit in a room and talk. You sit in a room and get crap done.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, because I am like all of those, you know, other small businesses. I mean, just because we have 85 locations, well, of course, we're not charging, you know, our franchisees any royalties during this time. We're not, you know, no income has come in. I'm struggling just like the rest of you out there, small businesses. You know, we are a family-owned company. When I say family-owned, meaning my husband and I, we founded this, but I have my nephew who's our CSO. I have my cousin who's our community, you know, manager, and the other members of our team have become my family. They are my family. They are my sisters, my brothers, and that's how we run this. And this is how we've stayed alive. We've shared tears in the last, you know, almost 6 months together. We've shared laughter, frustrations, and it's been hard. But, you know, when I came up with the idea for the nonprofit to fund the first responders for the first 3 months that COVID hit, I felt like I had to. I said, I have to do something. I have to do something so the world knows really that we're going to continue on. You know, I was scared that all the special needs families would have no hope. And what do you and I need? What do families with special needs kids need? They need hope. So do the typical communities. You know, they do as well. But in May, I was thinking about it and I said, I bet you anything, schools are not going to go back. What are we going to do? What are parents going to do? So we've now been deemed essential and we've been able to stay open even after the nonprofit movement, but low capacity, of course, and taking care of the kiddos with special needs and their siblings. But what's going to happen next? What are we going to do? How are we going to help parents? And I said, you know what? Virtual learning and your favorite We Rock the Spectrum. Let's do it. Let's do it. You know, our kiddos need the sensory play. I'm sorry, but the cost of a babysitter now is, I don't know about where you are, but it's at least $15 an hour. Okay. For us, you have a kiddo on the spectrum, you're talking about $22 an hour. That's what these respite workers charge. And not all of these state funded programs like the regional center and such, they're not covering us anymore for what we need as parents, definitely not to work. So this is our setup. Okay. And this is worldwide. And I'm so proud and so excited because it is taking off like wildflower. I got Grace here in the office here with me, and she's been managing the phone because I've just wanted the girls inside the gym, which I'm pointing over here because this right now, I've never come to you live in my corporate office here, but we are. You can see the We Rock the Spectrum world behind me. But she's been managing the phones because the phone is ringing nonstop. Oh my God, I've got to go back to work. What do I do? Well, guess what? We're setting up cubbies, okay? We're only allowing X amount of kids, depending on the size of the location, no more than 10. And they have to bring their headphones, they bring their computer, and we are doing their virtual learning and at-home school, and We Rock the Spectrum. Unbelievable, okay?
It's an answer to a prayer for a lot of families. I mean, I got to tell you, it's the number one question. People are like, I don't know how is my life supposed to work? You know, work wants me to work, and more work is saying that they will not allow you to do your job from home if you are being the caretaker of your children, even if they're going to school. There are people like their school teachers are being told you can't teach if you're also taking care of your kids and doing their school program at home. What on earth are they supposed to do?
That's exactly right.
And as a group of people, we have to solve this together. And people are calling me and saying, I don't know what to do. And, you know, I think there's a good reason why your phone is ringing off the hook, because people need this now.
It's now. Really, I'm grateful. Listen, we, as my mom used to say, you throw some spaghetti on the wall and, some's going to stick and some's not. I knew that this was going to help. Listen, we're here. We just want to do everything we can. I got a text message from an owner in New Jersey, and I'll get emotional. This is emotional time. So forgive me if I'm emotional this morning with you, but when I was reading, and she's like, yeah, we're doing great, with our program, we're booked up. She said that just was announced in New Jersey, schools are not going back for at least a couple more months. I mean, for us here, we're both in Los Angeles County, we're talking at least January probably. And my kids are at home now doing, the virtual learning, but it's hard. You just heard my computer. That's my daughter. My daughter now, because of COVID, has severe anxiety. Okay, severe anxiety. She's calling me, I don't know, at least a couple times an hour. She's FaceTiming me. How are you? How are you? I'm having separation anxiety. My son, gratefully, I'm able to afford support for him. So the support for him could not come in home, not for 5 months. One of his behaviorists is the wife of a doctor at Cedars-Sinai, and she's like, I can't come in. Just recently, the last couple of weeks, they've come back in. So I'm lucky that I'm covered. But you know what? 98% of the rest of the world doesn't have this. But I was reading her, we were text messaging back and forth, and her words, it's resonated with me.
This is the New Jersey owner?
New Jersey owner. She said, I just want to be here for these families. I just want to do everything I can for them, Dina. And, her name is Pip, and I have to do a shout out to her because it's incredible. She really is, she's an incredible leader. She's an incredible owner. And a regional training facility, actually. She became a regional training facility 8 months after becoming on board. And that's because, again, like I said, she has those leadership qualities. But the state of New Jersey has a great program. They have the funding there for this. Australia, let me talk to you about Australia. Okay, so since we've spoken last, four more locations opened up there. Can you imagine? Now we have 5 gyms, okay, in Australia, and their state funded program pays for all of the virtual learning in a We Rock the Spectrum. All of it, okay? The private facility hire, right? In any of our We Rocks, you can rent the gym for 90 minutes, $90 here in the States. For them, I think it's $100 the difference, but their state program pays for all of it. So this is what's happening now. Insurance companies, we're making our We Rockers blow up their phone. Look, we can't get the OT. They're not coming to our house. You need to pay for We Rock the Spectrum. So I want to get the point out there today that we are here for you, but also be proactive because some people can't afford this program. But we have to, of course, have the expense of hiring a teacher. We have a teacher there, right? And of course, we're not teaching the class because each kiddo has a different curriculum. But we've got, for example, our, I just so happen to have one here. We've got our clipboards, okay, our teachers, and they've got each kiddo's schedule. Okay, you know what, Sammy, you're supposed to be in, their second class. It's English. Come on, click on this button. So they're going to be there to help facilitate this. So,
but when they have breaks, then they can have some time in the gym, which is what everyone needs. We've been preaching here on the show, and we've got much more coming with this about whenever there is a break, your kiddo has to have something physical, sensory going on that is not screen time, or we're not going to make it.
Can I pull out my hair? I mean, Gabriel, I'm sure you've heard of this game, Fortnite. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden I hear him yelling from the other room. I'm like, what's wrong? Nothing. It's my game. I said, you know what, Gabriel? Guess what? We're cutting the screen time. Let's get out. Let's get moving. But we've got a huge heat wave here, right? A huge heat wave. Okay. 105, I think it's going to be again today. So really, I want to encourage, those of you, if you can't think you can afford the, the virtual learning in a We Rock the Spectrum, we have our nonprofit. We're continuing to, raise funds for families who cannot afford it. But we're here for you. If you can't afford the full program, we make it work for you. Okay. You want to come in just 3 hours a day because you're off early that day? Great. Again, it's not this. That's the beauty of We Rock the Spectrum is we follow the autism or the special needs diagnosis. Okay. No kiddo, no family is the same. So we will create this program around your family. And that's what all of our owners have done across the world. And I personally, I couldn't be more proud. And I'm just relieved. I mean, these families are like, thank God. Oh my God.
It's the answer to a prayer. So before we get any further, if somebody is interested in this and they're watching the show and they're like, oh my gosh, I so needed this. Where do they want to go to first? They want to find the closest gym to them, right? So tell us what the website is where we go to find the locations of your gyms.
So I recommend that you go to, well, depending upon, your city, it's better just to go on the franchise site, which is www.wrtsfranchise.com. Click on locations, boom. Click on locations. If you're not in this country, click on Cairo, Egypt, click on Malaysia, click on Australia, Canada. I mean, we're here. We're here in 8 countries now, and I'm also really excited to tell you some exciting news. Just 2 days ago, we got in a contract with a new area of developer, and they're going to be bringing on, they're opening, actually going under construction right now in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, but also going to be opening up another 14 locations within the next 24 months across the world as well.
Amazing.
So, yeah, so
amazing.
Thank God.
So look and see what's close to you. And then once you see what's close to you, they should reach out to that individual gym to sign up.
Call the gym, or they can email them. Our gym owners, they'll get back to you right away. If you have any problem contacting, your local WRTS, please call corporate office. It's 818-996-6620. Okay. If you forget.
Say that again slowly for everybody.
818-996-6620. And if you don't get a hold of someone, please leave a message or email us. All you do is click on the info at email address, and it'll take you right to us, and someone will get back to you right away in the corporate office. I just want to I'm sorry, Shannon, do a quick shout out to my team here. We Rock would not be still going on, because of, everything. I rely on my team. I'm only as good as the foundation I have in here. I have my East Coast office, in Boca Raton, Gail Field. She's my COO. Her husband, John, is in there running, our location out there. Both of her kids work for We Rock. One of them is an audit compliance manager. No, we can't fly out to locations, but we are Zooming them and making sure everything is to code. Her and her daughter, and we've got all of my team here. I can't be more grateful for them. We are here doing what we're doing because of the foundation of this corporate team. So I'm sorry, I did need to do a shout out for all of them.
No, and I gotta say too, you have some of the funnest people on the face of the planet working for you. They have a good time. Our theme this week is, if it's not fun, what's the point? And I think you make it fun, and they're fun people. I think you attract fun people to you, but they're all type A, get it done, impressive. I enjoy working with your folks anytime. But somebody did write in and said, our closest gym is 30 plus minutes away. I hope another one will be opening in Pennsylvania. And maybe Dina, you could talk a little bit, because I know we all hope that things will open up around us and that we'll just be able to go to them. But sometimes you're the person that's supposed to open it.
That's exactly, and that's exactly right. And you know what? Any smart franchise will be doing what we're doing. And we are giving a special deal to people who come on board. We just announced 2 owners a couple months ago. If you're going to be brave and you're going to do what we're doing, actually, we've had people who've owned businesses, and sadly for them, restaurants, other, video game places, and they're going under. So they're looking to business that survived the pandemic, that's surviving during this time, of quarantining. And that is, We Rock the Spectrum. So yes, be brave, call us. You are that person. You can be that person. We are looking for like-minded individuals. So if you need to be able to relate to the special needs community. If you are a family like that, then yes, go on our franchise site. But I want to tell you something regarding Pennsylvania. I'm not sure where they're at, if they're closest to the Northeast Philadelphia area or the Harrisburg, but just reach out and let us know. And we'll keep you posted, but the inquiries are coming in. I mean,
I'm sure.
Well, for, the first 2 months, they didn't. Everyone was in a freak out, and we're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to us? Are we going to?
But I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but everybody thought it was going to end, right? Nobody thought, was like, oh, I heard people were like, well, I'm just going to count this as a vacation that I didn't know I was going to get. And then we'll just all come back online in 4 weeks. And then it was 6 weeks. Then it was, So I think that was it. But I think people got hip to the fact that this is not going to be over overnight. And then everybody is in survival mode now.
Yep. That's exactly.
And, but I have always said that Dina started We Rock the Spectrum 10 years ago, and it's almost, we're coming up on the 10th. And I was already doing a radio show, but we're coming up on the 10th anniversary of when we were starting what this became, Autism Live.
Oh,
And if the timeline had been anything different, I can tell you I would be a franchise owner, because I was looking for how I need to be able to have a job that brings money in, that I can spend time with my child and be in a place where I'm helping other people. I mean, I had made a list of, I want to be doing something that does this, and this. And I needed it to be something where my son would have opportunities to grow with me on whatever I was doing. And we just missed each other. Dr. Grampiche got to me first. Otherwise,
I would love to have you, but thank God you're doing what you're doing. I mean,
well, but I'm just saying to families out there, if you're like that, if you're like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I've seen some amazing families start gyms with Dina, and eventually their kids start working at the gym. It's a built-in job.
My daughter, and let me tell you something, you know, I've got Grace and Tyler here sitting behind me, probably hiding, my project managers. And now Grace has an almost 5-year-old. She now has a 10-month-old baby, and they're across the street. They're across the street growing up in this, you know, fun, inclusive environment. And her kids, you know, are not on the spectrum, but they are learning about compassion, about kindness. And truly, I feel like as a nation, as a world, and this is where I get emotional, because of course, our election coming up, that is what we need. And that is what I am proud, okay, as a brand that we are part of. But this is, again, it's a business, as you said, that you can raise your family in. You don't need to pay for babysitting. I mean, I opened this because I wanted to be there for every single bit of therapy for Gabriel. That's why I wanted to be there, okay? And I sold my clothing stores of 17 years. And, you know, who would have thought? Oh, yeah, Sophia, she tells me who to fire, who to hire. My daughter's over there. She's texting me. She's watching Grace's baby, my baby, who was 5 when I started, now 16, okay, is watching Grace's 10-month-old baby over there in the gym. Little Leilani, who's now, she's going to be 3 years old soon. Tyler, I know you've met all of them. And I think, oh, my goodness, but the values that my kids have received, it's irreplaceable. It is. So, yes, don't think that, oh, my gosh, how am I going to have a job or have a business? You can have a business that includes your children. And that's We Rock.
And you would go to that same website, the WRTSfranchise.com. Now that person wrote back in and said they're in Northeast Philly, and they said, I just reached out to see what they are providing as services. Now we're starting to run low on time here, so let's go through that really quickly. So there is the school distance learning plan that you can do if you're needing to be someplace else and your child needs to be in distance learning. You can absolutely do that at your We Rock the Spectrums, but there are other services that you are offering right now. Talk about those.
Yes.
Dina.
So we're offering low capacity open play, which is up to 5 children. Okay. Again, we have a very, very strict protocol for sanitization. We use I'd say higher than hospital grade product. It kills COVID. Okay. And knock on wood, it's now, what's the date today? Mid-August. Okay. And this all started mid-March. We've not had one outbreak of a child getting COVID. And I am very, very proud of that. And let's face it, we could still be doing everything and doing it right, and it can still happen. But the system, you know, that we have with the temperature taking, the masks, the shields, the gloves that our team is doing, it's very important. And we've realized, and we've been grateful because we did the nonprofit movement, which was never my intentions, classified as essential. We can do the low capacity open play because we do it safely. And we also can do low capacity birthday parties. You know, so many kiddos are just crushed. Oh my God, where's my party? So no, you can't invite your 40 people. Okay, that like you did before, but it's up to 10. You know, we're keeping with CDC guidelines. It's up to 10 kiddos and you can come in, and the prices are like cut in half. You know, we're cutting the prices for that. And again, I want to make sure that anyone out there, so the low capacity, the private facility hire also, and that is you rent the gym for just you and your family. And that's taken off huge. And that was just a lifesaver for so many families, all families, but especially the special needs. I mean, they need it. They need to be on the equipment. You know, in the state of Florida, Gail Field, my COO, she has not had she didn't have any therapy for over 4 months for her kiddo. Okay, for over 4 months. And the regressions, I mean, I'm sure you're hearing it, right? Having to support people. So just know that we are here in every way across the spectrum, which is not just having a facility to get your yayas out, as Shannon Penrod loves to say, but also just for support. Okay, we're a phone call away. If you can't get to the gym, we're also here for emotional support as well.
So We Rock the Spectrum is also on Facebook. And you have some videos on YouTube too, because you have a music video.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, exactly. Get your re-rock moves on. You know, we're mailing out T-shirts to those families who send in their best moves. Okay, to the Re-Rock the Spectrum, songs. So send them in, do the moves. Okay, it's been so much fun. Oh yeah, we have a whole huge YouTube channel. as well. And then we also have, our support system through Rocking the Spectrum.
We got 3 minutes. Talk about Rocking the Spectrum.
Well, Rocking the Spectrum is something that you and I, had spoken about a couple years ago. And, you first get that diagnosis, it's overwhelming. Okay. You don't know what to do. And when I had the diagnosis, when you did, we had to go to several different places to find out, all the information we need. Rocking the Spectrum is a video library of videos that I've done with an incredible team, interviewed the lovely you, on one as well. Yes. And their support videos, everything from A to Z. So you see the alphabet, and there are videos on what to do with eating, with sleeping, with, natural, form therapies, from medicines to really have consulted with the top, the top of the top. And I also just talk about, me and what I'm doing day to day. And if that helps one person, then I'm happy. But it is a space where you can go, you can email in. I also do live one-on-ones right now because of COVID. The membership's free. Okay, you can go on there, get on there, view those video libraries. I do the Mama D's motivational minutes. And I say, okay, today we're going to talk about doing something fun. I know it's hot outside, so you know what? Let's do something fun. Let's do some fun dancing, with the kids. Okay, if you're vacuuming the house, put on your bathing suit. Let's vacuum, do a video, do a TikTok. So, these motivate, anything just to motivate people out there to keep going during this time, is very important. But during the whole avenue of having a diagnosis, with a child, you need a cheerleader. You need someone in your corner. And I'm excited to be one of, this incredible group of people out there doing what you and I are doing as well to help.
How can they get on the site? Where do they go? What's the website?
So that's rockingthespectrumwithdinakimmel.com.
So it's rockingthespectrumwithdinakimmel.com. Okay. And that's the only place that you can see the interview that Dina did with me, which was hilarious and so much fun.
Yeah, so much fun.
I only have a minute left here, but I cannot leave this conversation without saying this. You mentioned your husband, who's a great dad, and that he does sound for some television things. And I shared with Dina the other day that in our COVID madness, in the binge watching of the things that we are doing, we are finally watching Game of Thrones. And I have had the opportunity, when I came into the interview, you let me hold your husband's Emmy that he won for doing the sound for Game of Thrones. I just need for you to go back and tell him that I have a new appreciation for him and what he does, because he should have won Emmys for that. Like, the sound is a character. Even last night we were watching something, and at a certain point we paused it. We were like, where did they get that sound? Like we have questions for, like, it's so, he did such an amazing job. You have to tell him that we are humbled and awed by his work.
I will tell him. And let me tell you something. I agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more. He's working on now the show of, it's, oh my God, Lovecraft.
Scary.
The Lovecraft Country. It just aired. Oh my gosh, is it incredible? But I'll tell you something. I'm sure a lot of, your viewers out there have seen, this is the times where you've really had to rely on your significant other, for support. And I don't know about you, but I am so honored that my husband chose me and that we chose each other, because without him, I would never be sitting here talking to you today. So I'm doing a big shout out to my hubby out there. We Rock still exists because of you, Tim Kimmel. So thank you to him. And I will tell him about the Game of Thrones.
He's a mensch. He's a mensch.
He's a mensch, as is yours. Okay, Mr. Santa Claus.
I listen, I freely say, they say with autism that, the couples either grow apart or they grow together. And we were taught to be the letter A, that you're supposed to be the letter H when you're married, but when you have a special needs child, be the letter A and put your heads together and get together. And this COVID madness, every day I am grateful that I'm married. Somebody asked me the other day, say 3 words if you could go back in time and tell your 16-year-old self. And I said, marry Jim Miller, because it's like the best thing I ever did. Right. So we are lucky. We got very, very lucky. So we're hanging on to them. Please give him our best.
And yours. And, be sure and share with the viewers soon. Maybe we'll do that another round. But about that, we are still continuing on our Sensitive Santa.
Yes, we'll have news about that. We just had a meeting about it the other day, and Dina's a mad genius. And so we are going to manage to have Sensitive Santa in a very unique and special way this year, because she's so awesome. So we're totally out of time. I love you, and I love what you do, and I'm so honored to call you friend. And I mean that sincerely.
Right back.
check out all the stuff that she has. Go to WRTS, which stands for We Rock the Spectrum, franchise.com. Check it all out. Get a franchise or get your kiddos there for some free play, or talk to them about distance learning and how it can help you and your kiddo. Dina, I love you. Give your whole team a hug, and your kiddos especially, okay?
Absolutely. Say hi, everyone.
Hi. I love that team.
Shane, everyone. Yes.
I love that team.
We're a family. Thank you so much, Shannon, for everything that you do. We adore you.
Thank you. We adore you right back. Okay, you guys, we're well past time. I got to say goodbye for today. Tomorrow, remember, we got an oldie but a goodie. I'll be back on Monday. You are not going to believe next week. It is off the chain. We've got Bonnie Yates on Monday, but we also have the folks from Spectrum Laboratory. They've got some big news for us. It's ginormous. Then we got Dr. Grant Pichet, who's going to be with us. We have Temple Grandin with us on Tuesday. And on Thursday, we have award-winning comic and actor Jay Moore is going to be joining us live on Thursday. Stop, get out. It's fabulous. You're not going to believe it. So big week next week, plus lots of news about how we get back to school. I'm late. I got to go to a meeting, but thank you for being here. And thank you to Dina Kimmel. I'll see you guys on Monday. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now.